To starch or not to starch? This is the question I was actually asked the other day when I went in to drop off a bunch of shirts to the dry cleaner. This is also the question that we're going to answer today. Now, we've already discussed suits and cleaning, dry cleaning, as in how often. If you missed that video, there's a link down in the description. But now you got some dress shirts, right? They're dirty, they're stinky, you spilled something on them. And now you got to get them cleaned. The question is, how should you do it? Now, most guys that wear dress shirts daily will take their shirts to the cleaner, drop them off and say, hey, will you dry clean these for me? The next question that they're presented with is, how much starch? Your options, heavy, medium, light, or none. But my question to you is, why are you having them dry clean in the first place? Suits, delicate fabrics, yeah, they need to be dry cleaned. But cotton shirts? They just need to be laundered and pressed. It's cheaper. It's also going to extend the life of those dress shirts because the chemicals that they actually use in the dry cleaning process deteriorate and damage the fibers over time. The solution? Simply have your dress shirts laundered and pressed. And when they get to the point of the program where they're asking you about starch, you say, no thank you, sir. I am going to pass on the starch. No starch for me because you don't need it. Guys, here's the deal. Prolonged starching actually deteriorates that fabric as well. It's also going to make it kind of shiny. True story. The other day, I go to take some shirts to the cleaners. I drop them off. It's a new cleaner I haven't used before because my guy was out of town. Anyway, he's filling out my little slip. And he gets to the point where he goes, how much starch? Would you like light starch? And I actually looked at him and I said, no starch, please. And he looks up from his pad, smiles, and says, very smart. Yes! Validation from my cleaner! Are you kidding me? I felt like a genius for the next 5 minutes, and I realized that I needed to share this with you because I know that a lot of you just are confused. When you take the shirts, you're like, you've always heard starch, and you're like, yeah, right? And it gets nice and crisp and clean. Well, the deal is, like I said, repeated starching is actually going to damage the fiber. It's also going to make that collar, a lot of times the collar or the fabric, shiny, okay? By not starching it, you're still going to get a nice, crisp, clean shirt that's not wrinkled, but it's going to prolong the life of that shirt. Now, you don't want to go to the cleaner, you want to do it at home, no problem. Simply wash your dress shirts in cold water and hang dry them. Then, just hit them with an iron. Now, a lot of times people are like, yeah, but I use the starch to get the wrinkles out because if I don't, it's really tough. Spritz it with water. A little spray bottle with water. Get it? Iron it. Crisp and clean. The way that I see it though, how long does it take to iron a freaking shirt? It takes 15 minutes a shirt? Yeah, probably something around there. You know how inexpensive it is to actually have your shirts laundered and pressed as opposed to dry cleaning? Anywhere from $1.25 to $3 a shirt. That's it. Now I know that some of you are just die-hard dry cleaning fans. You're like, it's called a dry cleaner. It's not called a laundering and presser. And so you're like, I'm gonna get my shirts dry cleaned. What if I get a stain? Well, here's the deal. If you do get a bad stain, sometimes you may have to actually have it dry cleaned because they are stronger chemicals. But a lot of times, if you simply point out that stain to the cleaner, say, hey, I spilled something, they can use something to remove the spot without actually having to dry clean. It's still going through the launder and pressing process. Remember, they're also using detergent that's a lot stronger than the Tide that you're currently using at home. I'll tell you what, try it. Try it with one shirt. See what you think. See if you're satisfied. All right, I know you're going to save money, and I have a sneaking suspicion you're not going to be able to tell the difference. Guys, launder and press, no starch, now you know.